Who is that girl? She flawless. She ain't like nobody else. I just love how she talking. I am Courtney Michelle, here to open your mind up. Keep it so interesting. Time to be a subscriber. So intellectual and sexy. Hey, Courtney Michelle.
How do we get it back? I'm a proponent of the nuclear family. I'm a proponent of marriage.
Yes.
And my goal is to try to find a resolve. Now, from when you started to now, I see a change, but like you said, change doesn't mean it's good. It's just something different.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm seeing it. I hate to say it, but we're getting worse.
Yeah.
And now it's to the fact that Black men don't trust us. They're going overseas. They said they're done with the Black woman. Black women are now thinking they can get a white man, and they're done with the community as a whole.
Yeah.
So for one that loves us, loves being Black, want us to do great, has a daughter, want her to be with a Black man, I want to marry a Black man, but the distrust amongst each other.
Yeah. Well,
How do
we didn't get in this situation in 30 years.
No.
And we're not going to get out of it in 30. It took us over 555 years exactly. It might take us that long to get back on the other side.
Yeah.
But we can start as Black women by setting the example, by teaching our children to be themselves and not submit to other people's ideas and fashions. You can't wait until your daughter gets 14 to say, don't wear booty shorts.
Mm-hmm.
You got to start teaching modesty when that child is little and respect to the boy.
Yeah.
When he's little. You know, we talk all the time. I hear the sisters tell me, I'm his mother and his father. No, we're not. You're not the mother and the father. You know, we cannot raise a boy in the proper way he should be raised. He'd be better sitting on the curb with a drunk than listening to that nonsense we talk at home about men, okay? We teach them to hate the man they got to become. It's ridiculous. And so when we look at the condition of our girls and they like us, we know we don't have no great superior wisdom about child rearing because of the condition that most of them are in. And the men talk about it. They tell me about it.
Yeah.
What a lonely woman won't do, we'll do anything. We'll do anything anywhere. And that is so frustrating. Now, of course, I'm not talking in absolutes. I'm not saying.
Yeah, and I know the people will say not all women. We get, I understand. So I totally understand that.
No,
but
it's
some
not
people
all.
don't. Some people
However,
don't.
If we are put into a certain
I'll take care of them.
We'll tend to act the same,
So this is the thing that I think it's just so odd that we do all this stuff for attention and self-worship and trying to get men and trying to, but then we'll go back and say we don't need them, but then go back and then put them on child support and need their money.
Yeah.
Why are we so confused?
Well,
do Black women understand that we do need the Black man?
Well, we need him not just to keep our nation going.
Yeah.
Because we bad, but we can't create no baby by ourselves. So we do need them for that.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't just need him for that. Not just to survive. We need him to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because that's a different thing.
Yes, it is.
Than just, having somebody to impregnate us to keep the race going.
Right.
We need his arms around us. You remember they did a study about 50 years ago where they had some babies. Mm-hmm. And they took the babies and they didn't touch them. They just would change their diaper, prop their bottle. They didn't hug them, embrace them, soothe them, or anything. Well, the babies all grew up some kind of retardation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that works the same with us. So it's not saying that we just need them, but it's certainly much better to have one of them, because to have a man's arms around you and to tell you it's going to be okay, and to love something on him more than his penis, because that's the only time we get along with him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. After that, we back in hell.
Yeah.
Okay? And so we have to recognize that we have a greater value than that. And people recognize your value if you function like you have one. But if we function like we don't have any value for our environment and ourselves, then that's how we get treated.
Yeah.
Especially the predators that are out here today. You know, they have a sense for all of these different things. And we have young girls out here. We used to talk about how the little boys were mimicking the older men on the block, and the boys, teenagers on the block selling drugs. Well, what would our girls emulate from us? What would they mimic from us? Wearing fake hair,
right?
Getting fingernails, getting your nose or something pierced, getting fake breasts, wearing the tightest clothes you can so you can get the touch, get the attention of a man, and dancing in the most vulgar way possible. Nobody but us could take something so beautiful and sway into music and turn it into something vulgar. You know, you got little girls in school who can't read, who can't tie their shoes, but they can do the TikTok dance. See? So we're off post. And I'm not saying that we don't have more Black women who are graduating out of college and getting PhDs. All of that's just designed to go beg the white people for a job. And these are the people that are repressing the man that we could have had.
Yeah.
And a lot of these brothers are functioning like females. They're arguing like women because that's all they've been around all their life.
Is when they mama. Okay. And acting like they mama.
She's still mad because the father of that child, you know, they didn't get along. And we still think that if you have a baby by a man, it'll tie him to us. Nothing could be further from the truth. If he's too immature to handle that, it just runs him away. You're not going to hold him by getting pregnant and having a baby.
No, I heard that's the easiest way to lose them. Get pregnant, trying to keep them now.
We have so much of the jealousy going, but we don't have that much jealousy going because that's why some brothers have 8 and 10, 15, 20 children. Because each one of them sisters think that they're going to be different and be special. And so they get pregnant again.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating. But my books are available on Amazon and eBay. And I really, really wish all Black women read The Black Man's Guide to Understand the Black Woman.
Absolutely. I have it.
That one first.
Well, I'm gonna put the links to your eBay and the link on this video, and I'm gonna post it on my Instagram so they can get it. I think it's an amazing. I mean, it's just a reference that breaks us down and tells us a little bit about ourselves. That not like we don't know, we just don't like to hear it.
We don't think anybody else knows. No, we don't think nobody else can see us.
Yeah,
we think because we have so many layers of fake personality and so forth in front of us, we think we're not seen. But we see each other. You know, we're able to do that. We have to get our confidence back. If we want a better man, we got to be a better woman.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. If you're around semi-quality men, it doesn't run them away because you have your clothes on and not showing your breasts.
It does not.
It really doesn't. And as I said, they have set up so many situations where we have lost trust from each other. Our men are overweight. We have our women overweight. We have convinced them that being overweight look good. As I said, they'll go with whatever we present them with to be with us. Whatever we decide how it's going to be, they'll decide, I like that.
Yeah.
But we are leading them in the wrong direction and our children. All of this is, as I said, because we want to have the attention and a few moments of pleasure. And you can't build a nation or a life out of just that. We have to have more values and standards. And a lot of times we don't want to change and do different things because we say, oh, that's old school. No, that's the school where things worked and where we had stable relationships. And children had their fathers. That's the one we want to bring back because those principles still work.
Yes.
There are universal principles that govern everything. And there are certain ones about interaction between a male and a female in a relationship that still work. We don't have to come up with a new idea. We haven't corrected or practiced the old idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have work to do. And that doesn't mean go down and be a doormat for some man who is not qualified to have a good woman. It doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
We have got to get this desperation under control.
Why do we hate the word submission?
Well, because to us, that means that somebody going to tell us what to do. Even if we don't know what to do. We don't want nobody to tell us.
Do you see the contradictions that we keep living as Black women? We want you, but we said we don't need you.
Right.
We need a leader, but we don't want you to tell us what to do, even though we don't know what to.
No.
It's just all contradiction that I'm just seeing. And then when you say the truth, then you public enemy number one.
Well, we are living at the end of this civilization one way or the other. And so everything will be manifested. We're living in the time of the manifestation of the defect.
Yeah.
And all of the issues that we have dealt with that have been wrong are going to be revealed. The people, the activities, whatever it is, because a lot of what, and I know a bunch of different women, of course, and men, coast to coast. And I hate to think that the majority of them are not happy.
No.
You know, but you have to create some activity for yourself, get involved, do the work, and function, and hope for the best, because we don't have anything else other than that. And let me mention this one last thing, Courtney, because this part is really important.
Okay.
We're going to have to get over this thing about not wanting our man to have no other woman.
Now, look.
Yeah.
You said this is what you said. What makes a good Black woman? You said it was 7 attributes. Okay. You said a Black woman that is disciplined. You said a Black woman that's intelligent, a Black woman that's cheerful. You said a Black woman that has self-respect. You said a Black woman that is clean, that, you know, cleanliness. You said a Black woman that is courteous. And then you said a Black woman that loves. And that means not to have.
That's non-possessive.
Non-possessive love. That's what you said.
Now let me explain why.
Yeah, you know that's the what I struggle with. Now I'm with all the 6. Well, but Jesus.
Let me explain to you.
Okay.
Let me explain something to you. There's been no woman on the earth who ever had a man to herself all the time.
Yeah.
We've not had a prophet. We've not had an ancestor.
Mm-hmm.
There's no man.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't like that. I'm like any other woman, because we've been taught a different idea. I wouldn't want
monogamy.
That. You know, yeah, well.
One-on-one.
Well, we haven't been able to do that either. We haven't been successful.
That's true.
So anyway, if we check in our family trees, there ain't been no woman. That's our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, our great-great-grand, whoever, who hasn't been through that kind of ordeal with her man.
Yeah.
Okay? It's more women than men. We're more desperate than men. We're more bold than men. And so we're going to be offering ourselves to different men. It don't matter whether he married or wearing a priesthood. You know, if he's a man, we're going to be trying to get with him if we're attracted to him. Okay? And so based on that reality, all of us have been through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no need to be embarrassed. There's no need to be ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to try to get through it if you can.
Yeah.
And if you can get up enough security in the love that your man have for you to be able to handle that. Now, let me tell you something. We are not jealous because he might have dinner with her. Mm-hmm. We're not jealous because they go to the movie or on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
We're jealous because he's going to have sex with her too. And all of us want to think that our sex is so special that there's no way possible he could ever
want somebody else.
And it has nothing to do with us. We're talking about the nature of the man, not of the woman. It has nothing to do with us. When he say, but baby, it didn't have nothing to do with you, he mean that. That's really the truth.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not that we have to be less than anything. And that's the other thing that we think. Mm-hmm. It means that I'm short in something. I'm less. If I did this, I did that. It wouldn't matter what you did. You know, if you run around the block 3 times, stand on your head and walk across the ceiling, it has nothing to do with whether his decision or his nature is. And I'm not talking about fornication and adultery. I'm not talking about no Negro going out every weekend to the club to go sleep with some woman. I'm not talking about that. I mean men who seriously And there are men out here like this all across the country.
Yeah.
Who have loved two women 20, 30, 40 years. And the women still can't speak on the street. They both got children. Y'all know how that is.
Yeah, you know they had the side family go over there on the weekend. Mom and them told me all about that back in the day. Yeah, they did.
So I'm saying we need to stop acting like that don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
The actual fact is, and I'm not advocating any of this, polygamy was created for women to make sure that every woman had a father for her children. Every woman had food and protection.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you have to share him with that time, and the actual fact is, though none of us want to be bothered with no man 24/7 because we busy, we got things to do. But we just want to make sure he ain't with nobody else doing that.
That's right. That's right. You already said that a lot.
I mean, I would have never got nothing done if that had been my principle. You know, and I had a lot to do that I was trying to do in my own creativity and stuff. But when we find out if that happens, not gonna die. You don't have to burn his clothes. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
No bleach in his car seats. I mean, there's a lot of things, that women do. Mm-hmm. Because we get angry about that. That's the deal breaker.
Yeah.
And I think that we are taking it too far out of context. I know it is designed for propagation of our race, but however, I've been talking with the young girls and they talking about getting slapped and choked and beat and everything, and they calling that sex.
Well, it's a generation into a little something different.
Yeah. As I said, remember now where a lot of them have come from.
That's true.
What came through the seed. Okay.
Yeah.
It's genetic, a lot of it at this point. It's going to take a long time to weed a lot of that out.
Yeah.
But we have to do what we have to do. Part of that is to smile. Part of that is to shut our mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Let him talk. It may not make sense to us, but we ain't no man. I know the foolishness we talk don't make no sense to them.
Bunch of babble.
And so we could, if we could stop fussing, stop teaching him to fuss back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I tell brothers all the time, you don't have to react to that.
Yeah.
You're not no woman. You ain't got to fuss because can't nobody out fuss us.
Mm-hmm.
He's not gonna win. But those are I'm just sharing with you some things that over the years that I have learned about what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
If you get a man and if he never see who you really are, if all he see is somebody's hair and makeup and eyebrows, he can run into you on the street and not even recognize you.
You come in the house, he think he getting a burglar. Who is this? It's me, baby. No, it ain't. This is not the woman I fell in love with.
So what happens is that if we want a better man and a better daughter, then we have to make it. We have to build it, not just birth it. We have to spend that time.
Yeah.
The further away a woman works from home, the more the family suffers. And everybody has to work. We need to curb our lifestyles on thinking we have to have the most expensive everything, every shoe, every outfit. We only doing that because we ain't got nothing else to do. A busy woman don't have time for fingernails 3 inches long. Not if she's trying to get something done.
Not if she's cleaning.
And build a new nation. And we need a new nation. There's not much repair for this.
Well, that was going to be my final question that I had for you. Building a new nation. What does that look like? Because a lot of people say, well, building a new nation means I'm going to go overseas and build it with another woman, meaning of a different culture.
Yeah. Well, we have been quit before. We've been quit before and we have quit them before.
Yeah.
But nature wins out. We come back together ultimately. Again, it was all designed like that too. And being able to get past things that happen and not throw it up a month later and start a whole new argument with it. It doesn't mean we're taking nothing off of somebody. It just means that this is the life in America. We live in a hostile environment. And every time our man leaves the door, our brother, our father, whomever, we don't know if we'll ever see him again. Because there's an enemy out there, an open enemy, who wants to kill them, snuff out his seed, and destroy his woman.
Yeah.
I advise every Black couple that's trying to get together to sit down and discuss and find out if that person, that man or woman that you're trying to deal with is intellectually compatible with your understanding of blackness. See?
I never heard that one.
Yeah, well, I'm giving it to y'all tonight.
I appreciate you.
You want to find out if that person is willing to understand that a lot of our behaviors are remnants from our ancestral slave history. And I have that one book, Are You Still a Slave? Which is a test book, a couple of tests in there to help you take a test to determine how much of a slave are you still acting like even without a slave master.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those things are designed, a lot of those ideas and habits and comments are designed to break us up. So we need to talk about, listen, now you know this whole society gonna be against us. We're gonna try to make it work. Now you have to be a little vulnerable to do that. And all of us got some kind of front set up that we think we have to pretend we got so that somebody else that we don't even know usually will think we cool. The nonsense that we have been fed, the foolishness that we have entertained daily instead of trying to do something for ourselves, which is the first work would be to improving our home.
Yeah.
You know, instead of all of this self-aggrandizement of everybody got to look a certain way. As I said, what kind of money are we talking about? If I go into an auditorium and 90% of the women in there got on somebody else's hair.
It's a multi-billion-dollar company.
You're talking the lace, all them different things. Different white people and Asians own them companies. There's no money for us in that except actually doing the process.
Yeah.
So we give away our fortune. We give away our man by trying to be more man than we think he is. We have to get our femininity back to start acting more soft, more gentle. We have to put some clothes back on so that any old straight man don't think he's qualified to come up and approach us. All of that is based on how you carry yourself.
Yeah, our image.
Yeah. And we have one to repair, as I said, worldwide. We have young women, you know, I say all the time, if you go to the rescue home to get a dog, you got to fill out all these papers. How you going to feed the dog? Where you going to get the food from? Where's the dog going to sleep? When you going to take the dog to get his shots? How you going to discipline the dog? You have to do all of that before they hand you a dog and trust you with an animal. And we have mothers, young women and older women that go to the hospital and have a baby, and they just hand you the baby and you go home. So we need to start back having parenting classes. You know, these churches have really disappointed me. I don't have any confidence in what they're in there talking about. Because it's good to have a pantry, but it's better to have some mother in there, an older sister that can teach these young girls about how to have self-control in raising their child.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if it's enough time left in this society to go back and teach that. But I also know that a lot of nonsense we practice is because we're full of food. When that food gets short, people gonna come to a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised the arguments that are no longer important. Okay, once we have to deal with some other issues. So I have enjoyed this interview.
Let me tell you, now you know. I ain't done with you. You think I am? I adore you. I can't thank you enough. Like I told you before, like you absolutely changed my point of view. You've made me look at myself a different way, and I could not agree. When I saw you on the Donahue and Sally Jesse, and I'm just like, ain't not one story told. Not a one. She over there speaking to me. I'm over here acting like a whole heathen. So it was time for me to get my little self together. But then when I did, and you know, put your clothes on. You ain't got to be doing all that. Have some self, respect yourself.
That's right.
Lower your tone. Learn how to shut up. Respect men for being a man, just in general. When I started doing that, when I tell you the climate in my life has changed.
Yes.
Now I be trying to tell these young ladies,
It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to be other than yourself. To be hostile, to be aggressive, you know, constantly flipping up sex. It takes a lot of energy for that. But once you start being yourself, you can relax, don't you? Don't you feel more relaxed?
When I tell you, I said it feels like you take off a jacket, a coat, and you can rest, and they call it resting in your femininity. But I said you're resting in what God made you. God made you a woman.
You become being yourself instead of mimicking other people who don't have our best interests at heart.
Right. You preaching the word.
Listen, I think you're beautiful, and I think you will be blessed with everything that you want, because that is attracting. All right. Instead of just being attractive, that is attracting. Yeah. So you will attract, you know, what you want. It's a lot of the times, you know, we don't know what God has planned for us.
That's right.
But if you're doing the right thing, you're in a better position to earn a good blessing than if you're doing the wrong thing.
That's right. You're right. Know? That's right.
So I think that this is a wonderful idea you have to do this show. I've given you enough to work with.
Yes, you have. I ain't gonna. I'm gonna check up on you here and there. I always gonna do that. But like I said, thank you.
But I thank you, and I thank you for inviting me. You're a lovely young woman, and that's why I did your show. I like nice people, and I like sisters who are able to deal with the truth and move ahead in their life.
Yes,
instead of trying to live for somebody else. You know. No. So you take care.
You too.
I love you. And you can always email me.
Yeah, I'm gonna check up on you. You done got
answering, but you can email.
I know you're not, but you got family here in Tennessee, so I'm gonna always check up on you because, like I said, you're an absolute. You're a diamond.
Oh, please.
For us. You are. You get used to it. I'm gonna say your praises. You are a diamond. So you have.
I'm just doing the best I can. Well, I'm trying to share what I have learned, so you can do the best you can. It's much easier, and it allows you to be beautiful for a long time.
I would take my age.
Every idea you have weighs on your face.
You're
That's
right.
true.